guys, it is Zeus bringing you another Sunday gaming episode. In today's video, we are doing some Battlefield 3. It's been such a long time since I've touched this game, and it shows. It really shows that I haven't touched this game in months. I don't think I've touched it since Battlefield 4 came out. It was actually a game, it was actually the game I was going to start my YouTube channel off on. Like, when I said I wanted to do it, like, a year before Battlefield 4 was even announced, I think. Obviously at the time though, I couldn't justify whether I wanted to do it and spending the money on things like the Elgato, and later on finding out that I need to spend money on a mic and things. At a time, I just didn't want to spend money that I didn't know I'd ever use. So Battlefield 3 never got any kind of attention on my channel. It never got any kind of... nothing ever happened with it, but it was what I wanted to start off my channel on, and it's ironic that this game got picked at a time where there's actually news I want to talk about. Now, generally, Sunday gaming is not a time where I talk about any kind of news. I generally leave everything kind of at the back and just play. Have fun, tell you guys some random stuff, and that's kind of all I do. But here, I do have some news I want to talk about, and Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 would have sufficed to talk about it. So, we have the news of Battlefield Hardline. Now, when I heard about this game, especially with the idea of like a cops and robbers kind of style, I was kind of unsure. I didn't know whether I liked it, whether I disliked it. It was just kind of a weird thing for me, where I was just like, you know, I mean, the idea is okay, cops and robbers, but I didn't know how Battlefield would pull it off. Battlefield is about global superpowers for some reason being cross at each other, or one dude tricking the entire nation and forcing us to go to war for no other reason than because I guess he can. And 870s. Okay. Never can get away from those. But it was just like it was always this kind of thing where Battlefield was always kind of this like global warfare. It was never this small, contained idea of let's just have cops versus robbers. It's like, it sounds like it's a kid's game. Like, oh, well, okay, kiddie style. But I mean, well, obviously it's not, because it's Battlefield. It's a shooter. It's not for kids anyway, but kids will play it. But I mean, it's just like this weird idea, and I'm like, well, I mean, I can get behind it if they do it well. I mean, I can support them if I know I'm not gonna have to wait 6 months to get a decently playable game, and maybe not even get the decently playable game. I mean, I'm willing to support the idea. Oh god, I with my teammates. Of course, I made the wrong choice in turning. I have no problem with the idea. I want to see it handled well, and I think it could be handled pretty good. A close quarters kind of, just all over the place, like kind of like Call of Duty, but not. As in, it has the close quarters feel that people like about Call of Duty, but the Battlefield feel that that comes with having kind of vehicles and tactically separated classes. Something that a lot of people were a bit on the offside was that all classes could use carbines or carbines, as people say it, on all classes in Battlefield 4, and people were like, that took away the diversity, that you could use basically all the weapons on any class. There was no separation of classes. I feel like they should bring that back, because it gave an incentive to teach people how to play different roles. And it was also more fun that you didn't have, like, all medics who were all running, like, the best carbine in the game. Or, like, you couldn't have the best weapon on certain classes. Like, for me, my favorite weapon was the MTAR. And I would have loved to use it on the support class. But, I'm talking about Battlefield 3. I couldn't generally do it. I couldn't do it, period, because the support class didn't have access to PDWs. Not PDW, carbines. And so it hampered me, because I couldn't just throw an ammo pack down and continually use my weapon. When I ran out of ammo, I was kind of ran out of ammo until I found someone to give me ammo. So it gives you a reliance on your teammates, but not necessarily a bad one. It just gives you one that kind of forces you to play together. And so I kind of hope they re-implement this in Battlefield Hardline, because I want to see a game where each classes, while they have their own things that make them unique, they're not so independent that they don't necessarily need each other anymore. That was something that I feel you didn't necessarily need in Battlefield 4. You could handle most things by yourself because you had the access to most of the weapons, or at least better weapons than what came standard in your class. In this game, I had a tendency to use the carbines more, but I steered clear of them beforehand. I didn't touch them. I was more, but then I found out like, wow, I really like carbines, and then that's just the engineer class. In Battlefield 4, that's not an issue anymore. I can use it whenever I want. And in Battlefield 4, I generally do use carbines or PDWs, but never really go for assault rifles unless I want to use a certain one. So I generally hope that Hardline does bring this thing back where we actually need the classes. Like, they don't feel so separate. They don't feel like you don't necessarily need your teammates for anything other than, I don't know, maybe occasional ammo. I almost forgot that you can't counter knife, so getting knife in this game is not the best idea. Some people want the counter knife removed. I don't know really why. I mean, I guess it prevented some nonsense, but at the same time, it could really be unfair. I'm personally okay with it, generally because I rarely get killed by knives anymore. We like always counter knife. Maybe make it harder. I'd say, like, instead of just pressing one button and then, haha, you get stabbed. Like, it deters people from knifing, I guess. And I don't know why you do that, because one of the mechanics was, I took your tags, and now you can't, now you have to, like, literally go up to someone behind them and then do that. So maybe make counter knifing a bit harder to pull off of than pressing one button. Maybe like a combination of buttons that maybe changes. I guess I would make them like quick time events, I don't know. Depending, I guess it would be unfair, I don't know. However they want to handle that. Back to like the topic though, really. Outside of improvements. I do think the game has merit. The classes are the same because all they did was change the names. They're not just like, you're not gonna see any new class. You're not gonna see the newest 5th class in Battlefield. You're going to see the standard classes with different names. And I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The standard classes are fine. There's nothing wrong with the standard classes. If you were hoping for more customization, not really. I mean, the weapons have changed and the equipment has changed to match the setting. So you will see things that people like high-end robbers and SWAT people will use. They're not going to use these high-class weaponry. Well, maybe some of them, but might be some high-class weaponry. But you're not going to see like some advanced like heat-seeking bullets or anything. You're not going to see any of that. Simply because SWAT probably doesn't have that. Nor do robbers are going to get a hold of that. That's not going to happen. And so it probably has like this more militia kind of war feel, like not this advanced war feel that like Call of Duty goes for. And Battlefield occasionally does go for, but tends to kind of stay towards modern. So I mean, I'm just kind of curious. I like the idea. I'm supportive of the idea as long as they don't mess around with the idea too much. Like, they don't try to shoehorn an excuse why this like SWAT has access to jets, or they don't shoehorn an excuse as to why the thieves randomly have better weapons than SWAT do. That's just not something I would tolerate. But I mean, I'd be like, what are you doing? But as long as they don't try to shoehorn anything in just to like make the game more like the ones before, because I think it's going to be a different series entirely. I'm all for it, and which is in Battlefield 3 glitches. So I mean, leave your opinions down below. Leave a comment saying what you think, if you like the idea. If you don't like the idea, why? What are your idea for improvements on the game? Like, what could they add? What could they remove? Obviously, with E3 coming up, they're going to probably talk more about it because it was announced way before E3. I think they were intended to announce it, but then there was some leakage. So I mean, leave your own opinions on it. I hear it's also being developed. I mean, it's being co-developed by the people who made the Dead Space trilogy. So I mean, who knows? Maybe that means this game will actually have a decent story. Probably not. But I mean, if it does, that'd be always cool. I mean, I'm curious to see what the two teams can do with each other. I don't know, like, to what extent they'll be able to do anything. But I mean, for all I know, they could do some really good work, or it could flop. I don't know. So please leave a like, comment, and, you know, just let me know how you guys think. Like, do you think it'll be a good game? Do you think it'll be a bad game? What are your opinions? Are you gonna buy it? Will you not buy it? Are you just too upset by the Battlefield 4 fiasco to even consider buying another Battlefield game right now? So let me know. So I'll see you guys later. Please subscribe for more videos if you want to keep up with all my content. Follow me on Twitter just to know when I'm going to put up a video, or if I'm just talking about something you might find interesting, then, you know, always feel free to do that. Options always open to you. If you don't know, they're all found in the links below in the description, and I will see you guys later. Fudge you, not you guys, fudge him, LMGs, and have an awesome day. Zeus out.